Hi everybody, it's Chris, and today we are in front of Pioneer Motorsport in Chaffee, New York. Chaffee's about an hour, about 50 miles south-southeast of Niagara Falls, a short drive south of Buffalo, New York, and they are a multi-line dealer, including the Can-Am line. And today we're in for a real treat, because today we're going to ride the Can-Am Canyon RedRock Edition. We're going to check it out now. We'll do a quick walk around and then we'll jump on it and go for a ride. Okay, so you've seen countless videos on the Canyon, I know that. This one's going to be a little different though, because this one we're going to contrast it with the RT Limited in particular, which is the model, as you know, that I have. But this is an awesome looking machine. I mean, the Canyon comes in 3 levels, and this is the top level, the RedRock. We're going to do another walk around after we've ridden it for a while, and I'll give you my take. I'll contrast and compare what I like and don't like compared to the RT, and that's going to be the focus of this video. Not so much a review of the Canyon RedRock, but contrasting it with an RT Limited in particular. So let's go for a ride. Okay, this is totally awesome. It's not necessarily a Canyon thing because this is also on the new Spyders, but coming from a 23 Spyder, I don't have this display system, and it's just totally cool. Okay. One of the first things I notice is, because this doesn't have the floorboards, your foot is in a fixed position, and the foot brake, well, the only brake, is in kind of the traditional position for riding a motorcycle, at least an adventure bike where you have the upright riding position like this. Wow, this is awesome. So I adjusted the windshield to its highest setting because I want to contrast this with the RT Limited, and this windscreen is a lot smaller, so I wanted to make it most comparable. It rides very much like a Spyder, as you would expect. I don't know, but I almost think that the wheel stance might be a little wider than the RT. If you know that, please put it in the comments. I've watched countless videos on this thing, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's just in my head, but the wheels might be a little wider. The immediate thing that I notice coming from the RT is, so the feet are at a fixed position because it has foot pegs and not floorboards, and I totally get that for an adventure-oriented machine. I get it. And so the brake is in the normal, like if I was riding my KTM, it's right where my KTM brake was. But for the past year, the past 20,000 miles riding a Spyder RT, I'm used to having to push my foot forward to hit that brake. In fact, the first video I did on my Spyder, I almost got in trouble by not finding my brake quick enough, but fortunately I did, and I didn't have a mishap, but I could have, because my brake wasn't where it normally is. And now, riding this Canyon, it is where it normally was in the past, but that's for another video. It handles just like you'd expect, just like a Spyder. I mean, this road, I picked this route specifically because it's got some twisties, it's got some hills and terrain to it. We're not going to take this off-road, but I know this would do like just incredible things off-road. I mean, the tires, the stance, the chain guard, the belt guard, so you don't have to worry about a stone getting between the belt and the pulley. And as I said at the beginning, this is just awesome. I think the first time I saw the new display was on a Sean Smokes video, And what really made it pop, what really made it noticeably better than my 2023 Spyder, is when you can watch a YouTube video and see things crystal clear that you can't with the old display. But now seeing it live, not through the camera but through my eyes, it's just amazing. Now the one thing I don't like about the new displays, and I get it, Can-Am's, you know, concerned about safety, but I wish this touchscreen worked while it was riding. The touchscreen is only usable, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but if the machine is stopped. And like right now, I would love to be able to touch that. If I'm on the interstate, am I at risk doing that? Yeah, but I'll tell you right now, when my phone is mounted on my quad lock, I touch my phone when I'm riding. So I probably shouldn't say that on a YouTube channel, but I'm certainly not advocating anyone else do that, but I do it. We're following a river here. This is a beautiful road. This is County Road 39, or it might be State Road 39. So I'm not 100% positive, but I believe the Canyon sits higher than the Spyder RT. So I prefer the Spyder RT over the F3 for one reason, that it sits up a little higher. The seat height is a little higher. It's higher than the F3. It's also higher than the Riker. And coming from adventure bikes, I wanted to have that upright, higher seating position. I never had a cruiser motorcycle, and it was kind of important to me to kind of transition to something that was more like what I was used to. I believe the Canyon sits even a little bit higher, and I think I either saw that on a YouTube video or maybe read that somewhere, and I believe I can feel that. I love that. Oh, this road is just really nice. I ride this Road 39 on occasion, and it's been in some of my YouTube videos, but not this leg of it. I don't think I've ever ridden this leg of it. This is beautiful. And this is going to take us to 240, and we've been on 240 many times on my YouTube channel. Only we're going to be going the opposite way for the route that I planned today. This has more aggressive adventure tires than the Spyder RT. I will tell you, I don't really feel it, which is a good thing. We'll look at them more closely when we do our walk around. But one of the things I was worried about is when you're riding at speed, now we're not on an interstate right now, you know, I wouldn't want the feel of those, you know, like knobby-like tires. And I believe the way these tires are designed, you don't really feel it, but they would help you off-road. I stopped at a stoplight a while back and changed the dash setup. I love this. And I also love, in terms of the redesign of the display, which again has nothing to do with the Canyon versus the Spyder. It's more 23 Spyder versus 24 and newer. But the fact that when it was in the last setting I had it in, I could still see my tach reading around the speedometer reading, which I love that. One thing that I love about the Canyon that it's on my wish list for the Spyders when they eventually revise the Spyders, and that's the fuel filler door. Not having to take the seat, lift the seat up to put fuel in it. Oh, that's huge. This handles just very, very well. You know, like a Spyder, as you would expect, but there's certainly no loss of handling. This has off-road capabilities, but you lose nothing when you're riding on the road, at least nothing that I've detected so far. I will tell you, the wind buffeting is completely different. The level of wind protection, of element protection, because this is not a Spyder RT or even F3 front, right? This is a much less substantial fairing. Now, comparing this to any adventure bike on the road, it's much more substantial, obviously. You know, I think back to my KTM 890 adventure, I wish that I had, you know, as much in front of me as I have with the Canyon. But having spent the last year and almost 20,000 miles on a Spyder RT Limited, I noticed it immediately. The wind's coming at me, you know, from here and here and here. You know, I have a much wider and taller windscreen. I love the handguards, and I'll tell you why. It's not because I'm expecting, you know, thickets or vines or whatever to hit my hands on this ride today, because we're staying on the road. I like this because with these handguards, when I want to ride my Spyder in the winter, if I had handguards like this, I could put you know, handlebar muffs over this to keep my hands warm. And because I don't have those, I can't use handlebar muffs. You know what I'm talking about, those things that kind of wrap your hands almost like a snowmobile. It does take a while to get used to where the rear brake is. I'm sorry, not the rear brake, the foot brake pedal is, when you're used to where it is on the Spyder. If you do transition from a Spyder R3 or F3, well no, R3, because I don't believe the F3s have those long floorboards. If you transition from a Spyder RT to a Canyon, just be ready for your foot and your feet are in a fixed position, and the brake is right where it should be, right where your toes would be, not further forward as they are with your Spyder. The other thing I love about this is the higher ground clearance because of the way the suspension is. And this is a Canyon RedRock, so it has an even more sophisticated suspension than the regular Canyons. It sits up higher and the ground clearance is higher. You know, I've bottomed out on, I want to say, a few different occasions with my Spyder RT Limited. It's not a pleasant experience when it happens. I can't imagine bottoming out with the Canyon. I'm talking about bottoming out on the road. Now, if you take this thing off-road and you really get in technical conditions, who knows? The fact that the windscreen is manually adjustable doesn't bother me at all. It's an easy adjustment. You just turn this thing right here to lower it, or I'm going to raise it. One of the things I don't like about the Spyders is how the windscreen, when you shut down, the windscreen automatically lowers. I've got a garage and there's a kind of a shelving thing in my garage, and I could ride the Spyder underneath it and put it there. But I can't do that because when I start up, the windscreen, when it comes up, it would hit that. Plus, I don't like the idea of that motor being used unnecessarily all the time, every time I shut down and start up again. But that's minor. My point is, this isn't at all problematic coming from a push-button windscreen. If I had to go back to manual, that wouldn't bother me a bit. This is Route 140. We've been on this route many times, only every time we've been on it, we've been going south, and today we're going north. It's got a lot of twisties, as you probably can tell. It follows a creek, the Cazenovia Creek, and there's the creek. So it's got the same engine, as you probably know. It's the 1330 cc engine with 115 horsepower. So it's not like I can feel that this has more power. And I don't know if the gearing is any different at all. It's the same transmission, the same, you know, kind of semi-automatic. I don't even know what it's called, but I should know it because I've had one for a year. But I mean, we're moving along here, as you can see. And it feels like my Spyder. It's smooth, which is great. Yeah, it handles the twisties really nice. This is the cute little village of Colden. And again, we've been through here many times, only heading south. Now we're heading north. The creek goes right through Colden. Can't really see it from this bridge, but there it is. Okay, so now we're going to do a walk around. We'll pull in this parking lot and do a quick walk around. I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like and contrast it with what I'm used to, the RT Limited. So it's an absolutely beautiful machine. I mean, it really, really is. In terms of aesthetics, you know, to me, form follows function. It's not a big deal to me, but coming from the Spyder RT Limited, and I've got a carbon black one, as you know, I love my color, but this is just as like physically attractive. I just love it. Let me tell you what I like about this thing in terms of what appeals to me and what could maybe tempt me to move from the RT to the Canyon, and then I'll tell you why I won't do that. So first of all, I love that this is off-road capable. I am not a guy who would spend a lot of time off-road, but I would love to be able to go down a gravel road and not have to worry about my, you know, belt having a problem because a rock gets caught between the belt and the pulley. That belt guard apparently mitigates that, and I love that. I absolutely love that it sits up higher, not just for off-roading. Let me just see if I can demonstrate. Well, it's hard to show the ground clearance, but the ground clearance on this is definitely higher, and I love that. I've bottomed out on the road, not off-road, with my Spyder, and I don't like that at all, and the fact that this would mitigate that is just awesome. The tires, as you can see, are really, really cool. They're more aggressive in terms of being much more off-road capable than the RTs or the F3s for that matter, but they're flat enough in terms of the contact patch with the road that you can ride this thing at high speeds and not really feel it. It's got awesome suspension. I like that. I absolutely love the fact that I can pull up to a gas station and gas up without having to lift up the seat, get off the bike. I know some of you are going to say, well, you need to get off the bike anyway. Well, you know, you gas up however you want to gas up, but, well, I'll just leave it at that. I love the fact that it's got these big luggage compartments just like the RT, but let me talk a little bit about what I don't like about this compared to the RT. I should also mention the higher seat height, and this seat is incredibly comfortable, by the way, but the seat height is another plus on this thing. But one of the problems is, because I like to do a lot of interstate touring, I don't have a frunk here, and that is a major loss of luggage space. If I were riding my Spyder mostly in Western New York on short, maybe weekend trips, and I wasn't going to go on long distance trips like the Florida trip that I just got back from, I think I'd probably switch to the Canyon today. I really do. It's that cool. But for long distance touring, that frunk is really a necessity. Even though I travel solo and I've got a duffel bag that goes in the back, I feel like I need that frunk for my tours. Also related to interstate touring is, while this fairing is substantial for an adventure bike, for what this is, it is not as substantial, as I said when we were riding, as the Spyder. So that would be tough for me to transition from this. I don't mind riding hundreds of miles in a day on my Spyder on the interstate, and at the end of that day, as I've commented many times, I feel no fatigue whatsoever. I don't want to make the switch to this when I'm doing the kind of riding that I'm doing. And the other thing is, and really I think the only other thing that I would miss is the lack of the floorboards. Even though I rode motorcycles for decades with foot pegs, and these foot pegs are incredible. They are very, very large. It's hard to, you know, explain how big they are, and you know, everyone's hand is a different size, but these things are huge. but having the floorboards there is such a luxury that I would miss it just absolutely terribly, and that's another, you know, deal killer. Now, if Can-Am were to make a Spyder RT, and I put this on my wish list on one of the videos that I did, would make a couple of changes that are Canyon-like to the RT, I would like the RT better, but they wouldn't sell more of them because of it. You know, for instance, lifting up the nose. I love the fact that if I hit a curb or a log or something, the tire's gonna hit it, the nose is not. If I hit a curb, if there was a curb right here and I accidentally pulled up too close and bumped into it, the tire's gonna roll into it first. I'm not gonna damage. If I did that with the Spyder RT Limited, the nose is like here and it's plastic, it would just crumple up. And that would be for a real bad day. So let's jump back on, go for a quick ride, and wrap this thing up, and I'll give you my conclusion. So I guess first of all, a big thank you to Pioneer Motorsport for letting me take out the Can-Am Canyon RedRock. It's been a great ride, and I really appreciate them reaching out to me. This is a cool road I've not been on before. So I love this thing. I really, really do. And as I said earlier when we did the walk around, if my riding was limited to a smaller geographic region, I'd probably be riding home with this thing today. It's that awesome. If I didn't do so much interstate stuff, wow, this is a hill. Like, this would be a perfect machine. If you're looking at going from 2 wheels to 3 wheels, and I was in the position you're in not too long ago, and I came from a KTM 890 Adventure, and you're looking for a trike, a reverse trike, but you still want to do a lot of off-roading, or even just some off-roading, this is something to consider. If you go the Spyder route, you really have to say goodbye to off-roading. You know, if you ride, or if you are considering a Can-Am Ryker Rally, because it has some off-road capabilities, you know, between the shaft drive and the tire setup, this is another option they've got for you. A little more expensive, a little beefier, a lot more powerful. Oh, awesome. Couple of baby groundhogs. Oh, this is so cool. This road is awesome. Oh, yeah. So again, a big thumbs up to the Can-Am Canyon RedRock. I really love the fact that Can-Am came out with this vehicle. It tells me that they're looking at, you know, new markets. And while I may not be the perfect target for this product, for the reasons I stated earlier, my guess is they're gonna sell some of these puppies. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you have any comments at all on the Canyon, if you have a Canyon, if I said something that's incorrect, any comments would be greatly appreciated. And again, a big thank you to Pioneer for loaning me this one, and thanks to all of you for watching, and I hope it was helpful. You have a great day. Bye-bye.